My initial reaction when I saw the Valentino Spring 2025 collection was actual shock. If I showed you these images, like this green one here, or this print here, or this bun color over here, you would think that it's from some South Asian designer. So technically what they're saying is that it's cute, it's admirable when they do it, but it's not cute when we do it. Correction, we've actually been doing it for years, and for a label to just steal it, and for other publishing houses to call it a triumph, like it's something they've never seen before when we've been doing it for hundreds of years, it literally just feels like a joke. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a very important video. This topic is not a light topic. I had to skip last week's video because I spent so much time researching and getting all the information for you guys for today's video. I want to first start by talking about Valentino. My initial reaction when I saw the Valentino Spring 2025 collection was actual shock. That's not the first time we've seen a Western brand steal designs from South Asia, but this was done in a whole different, blatant manner that I literally just could not believe at first. Because if I showed you these images, like this green one here, or this print here, or this bun color over here, you would think that it's from some South Asian designer, because these patterns, these designs belong to South Asia. So technically what they're saying is that it's cute, it's admirable when they do it, but it's not cute when we do it. Correction, we've actually been doing it for years, decades, centuries, for a long time. These designs, these patterns are actually ingrained into our heritage. It's part of us, it's part of what we've created from years ago. And for a label to just steal it, not give a credit whatsoever, and for other publishing houses to call it a triumph, like it's something they've never seen before when we've been doing it for hundreds of years, it literally doesn't feel real. It literally just feels like a joke. It's kind of like with Hailey Bieber and her brown lip liner. It was such a big revelation when she did it, but people kind of like forgot that the black community was doing it for a long time. In this video, we're going to be talking about multiple examples of Western fashion houses, whether it be luxury slash designer or whether it be high street.
What is this aesthetic called? It's like not Scandinavian summer wedding, but it's very European, effortlessly chic. European, effortlessly chic.
How they steal from South Asian fashion and label it something totally different.
European, effortlessly chic.
Repackage it and sell it and make millions off of it. So before we talk about the theft and all the things that they've stolen, let's talk a bit more about Valentino. Let's talk a bit more about the brand itself. So recently, Alessandro Michele was appointed their creative director. Previously, he was at Gucci for about 7 years, from 2015 to 2022, and basically he was the mastermind behind all of their success. I mean, we all remember Gucci's massive boom back in the late 2010s. We all remember it, we were there. So he's pretty much known for his bold designs, and that's kind of what he brought to the Valentino run in his debut. However, Valentino itself has a very different brand identity before Alessandro Michele, and their previous creative director, Pier Paolo, he was iconic. He brought that iconic pink Valentino shade, and the thing about Valentino is that you think of them and you think of soft femininity, but not the Chloe level of soft femininity. You still have that bold element to it, which I love about their brand. And just for you guys' reference, Anna Wintour has only really given 5 standing ovations in her entire career, and out of those 5, 2 were given to Valentino. Not the most recent one, not the one we're talking about today, but other shows. All in all, Valentino is a big deal. So when they decided to appoint Alessandro Michele, we were all curious to see what he would create, but I promise you, I would have never guessed that he would literally have a bun gala on the runway. This is sold everywhere, in every bridal wear store, in every South Asian designer store, every South Asian high street store. It's not an uncommon design. Not only that, but also the paisley print. This print actually originates back in Kashmir, but we can get into that later on in this video when we talk about Etro, because Etro is a whole different story. On the runway, we saw models wearing bangala, which is a menswear item. We saw lots of paisley prints. We saw this green dress over here, which literally screams South Asian fashion. And we even saw some really bejeweled nuts. It's basically what you wear on your nose. It's your nose ring slash bejeweled nose rings. I mean, right after his show, there were so many memes coming out about Alessandro stealing from South Asian fashion. I mean, this one here was my favorite one. But all jokes aside, what actually shocks me is that the show has been live for a long time, and the only people who have talked about the blatant theft that's happened have been South Asian creators. Not a single major news outlet, let's say your Vogue Business, Harper's Bazaar, or any of those. Like, none of them have even said a single thing about the similarities between South Asian fashion and what Alessandro Michele has done. It's just crazy to be reminded that the world literally turns a blind eye when designs, items, or whatever it may be is stolen from people of color. It's still so present in today's day and age. I mean, forget them calling out what Alessandro Michele has done, what Valentino has recently done. They were praising him. They were praising the show. Like, I was shocked, but I also wasn't at the same time. It's kind of sad. So the other day I was browsing through Selfridges and I spotted this by Etro. And honestly, this pattern is literally so common. I speak for every single South Asian when I say that my mom has a shawl like this, your mom has a shawl like this. I mean, all of our moms probably do, because it's such a common print. This print is not hard to spot when you step out anywhere in any South Asian country. This pattern, as we spoke about briefly before, is the paisley pattern. The paisley print comes from Persian and Indian descent. It became popular in the Mughal era. It's very popular, it's a beautiful print. And here we have an Italian designer making this print and selling it for thousands and not giving any credit to where credit is due. I mean, Etro's entire brand identity and everything that they really create is off of this print over here, and it's just starting to become even more similar to South Asian fashion. I mean, right now, if you think about it as well, South Asian fashion has become even more popular, especially after the Ambani wedding. I mean, literally every single celebrity was there. Everyone was talking about it because it was so extravagant. Kim Kardashian was there, so definitely there's been a bigger spotlight put on South Asia, or India in specific. One thing you will see is that credit is never given where credit is due. I mean, if they're not even giving credit where credit is due, why would they apologize? I mean, to apologize for stealing something, you must actually acknowledge that you have stolen. But here, there's no acknowledgement whatsoever. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see even more of this, because honestly, who's really gonna stop them? And news outlets are only singing their praises. And also, a trend that's coming back, we all know fashion is cyclical. A trend that's coming back is the boho chic vibe, and South Asian fashion in its nature can create a lot of boho chic elements / feels in their looks, and honestly, because of that, I see it happening even more in the near coming future. This Australian brand over here, we're selling a Jhumka on their website, and they labeled it as a perfect element to add a bohemian chic vibe to your looks. And that literally fired up all these South Asian creators on TikTok, you guys. They later had to actually issue an apology, which I'm glad that they did, because at least there was some form of acknowledgement, and they then later on took it down, etc. They sorted it out because of the backlash. But it's crazy, like, they were literally calling it something else other than a Jhumka. It literally is a Jhumka. Like, this design, this has been around for centuries, hundreds of years. I mean, I actually have one on right now. It's a Jhumka. Call it a Jhumka, don't call it anything else. And then the second very controversial thing that happened this year was the scandi shawl.
What is this aesthetic called? It's like not Scandinavian summer wedding, but it's very European, effortlessly chic. European, effortlessly chic. European, effortlessly chic.
Like, that's literally a dupatta. And they were like a very European look, a very scandi chic shawl. I mean, please stop. Sometimes it's just crazy. They'll just steal stuff from our culture and then like repackage it completely differently and blatantly talk about it online and think that no one's gonna come after them. They're wrong about that. But they as well also later on took it down and apologized. So to conclude this video, the number one thing that we need to remember is that credit must always be given where credit is due. Otherwise, it's literally just stealing and profiting off someone else's culture. Number two is diversity. You guys, the fashion industry is getting better, but it's still not where it needs to be with diversity. I mean, this stat from VogueBusiness.com shows that only 9% of executive roles are filled by people of color. So there's definitely a long way to go. And if you do have people of color in your company, mistakes like this won't happen as often, or actually won't happen at all, because you have employed the right people in your company who actually have a different lens on things. Once fashion houses actually start to give importance to diversity, that's where you can actually see some kind of growth happening. I hope you guys are are more informed after this video. I hope you guys can now point and look at different designer brands and actually point out when they're literally blatantly stealing from South Asian culture. I feel like if it's not talked about at all, then like it'll kind of be normalized, and that's not what we want. We want to point it out because sometimes when you do point it out, and sometimes when there is drama, brands will apologize and correct themselves, like we've seen with the Australian brand and the Scandi shawl. But I mean, when it comes to actual luxury designer brands, I'm not sure how we're going to fix that, but the first step is always to talk about it, to, you know, spread knowledge and awareness. And if you guys give this video a thumbs up, you're doing your part with making sure this video spreads as much as it can and reaches as many people as it should. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time.